Hello, and welcome to the Ascend Health Show. I'm Nick Angelis. I'm the owner of Ascend Health Center, and I'm a nurse anesthetist. And today I'm with Rachel Whitehawk from Whitehawk Ranch. And there is an accordion backstage, but Rachel has refused to play it, even though this show would be so much better if she played the accordion.
It would be memorable.
Yes, it would be.
Haven't played it since I was 9, but it would be fun to try. It's
right.
Sitting right there.
And this is a completely inappropriate joke that will ruin everything we're about to talk about. But we are talking about suicide today.
Yes.
And if you're terrible with the accordion, okay, I'm done. But anyways, so this is your second time on the show, which is very exciting. We've had few probably because of the jokes I make, actually. That's probably why we don't have many people come back for a second at all.
Not at all.
But can you start by telling us a little bit of what you do at Whitehawk Ranch? Because this is, I think, our 23rd show. So it's possible, not likely, but it's possible that some people have not seen all 23 shows and missed the last time you were here.
I think that's probably very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
For the sake of those who have not.
Right, both of you.
Right. Well done. I started this horse ranch nonprofit organization a number of years ago to create an environment and a methodology that teaches girls and women how to forever change their perception of themselves, of stress, of life in general. I created a very unique program. This is going back. We've been in existence for about 17 years. Mm-hmm. So I was very young when I started. But we created an environment and a place and a methodology, as I said, that really transforms the way people think. Mm-hmm. We start our lives out in circumstances over which we have no control. And we learn and develop ways of thinking and living that aren't always optimal. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of negative thinking, self-esteem issues, self-worth issues. These things become problematic as we get older, and in some cases become just impossible to navigate without some assistance. Mm-hmm. So I, after many years of being in the entertainment industry and being blessed with a great family, decided to create something that would really teach and help girls and women change their lives forever by giving them the skills and the tools to master emotion, to master perception, and to ultimately master their life.
Wow. And is humor used as any of those skills? Because, so the last show I just did was about domestic violence. Right. And so it was very difficult for me, but just because of the subject matter, I was very serious throughout the show. Sure. And we talked about a lot of helpful resources.
Sure.
And here we are talking about an even more serious subject, but I can't quite keep it together and be serious for 2 shows in a row.
Right.
But often with serious mental health issues, there is a sense of, let's keep everything serious, let's be very professional. And, at Ascend Health Center, we've taken a different approach of, let's be a bit more casual. Right. Yes, these are deep, difficult situations, but somehow they seem to be even worse when you're in a cold, sterile, professional environment where there's such huge boundaries between the staff and the patients that it's almost, the way I tell the patients is, well, when you go to your dermatologist, you don't wear makeup because otherwise they can't tell what's wrong with you. Right. So unless you feel like you can be yourself with us, we'll probably give you the wrong medicines, the wrong treatments, the therapy won't be effective because we're treating this shadow self, this persona that you've developed often because of trauma or hardship, but that person doesn't need the medicine or the therapy. It's the real you, who you are at your core, that we really need to treat.
I could not have said it better. One of the reasons we are so successful and we are an alternative and a good one is because we provide that very thing. When you are out at a horse farm, and we have offices and they're heated and air conditioned and we have all the comforts that you need in order to learn certain things, but you have to be genuine when you're with animals, especially the animals that we have, because they're huge. We have draft horses. Authenticity and genuineness are absolutely paramount to doing what we do. And we provide an environment that is not clinical. And we are often the last resort for a lot of people who've gone through a lot of the medical community or the mental health community and those resources and haven't found everything that they need.
Right.
And we are a great resource because of that, because of our relaxed environment. The idea that we are here to help you, the genuine you. We're here to help you reveal who you are, love who you are, and sustain who you are. And
Wow.
You're so right. It is all about being genuine. And humor, to your point, is a huge part of that. If we don't learn to enjoy life, I think sometimes people who suffer with anxiety and depression and these related issues never really appreciate humor and joy. And that's a learned skill in some cases. I think it's a learned skill more often than we realize, because I think we stay in this kind of pretense, as you say. So you're absolutely right. We have to provide an environment where people can enjoy it. We get this one life. That's one of the things I say all the time. We go around this earth one time. We are meant to enjoy it, and it's meant to be happy and wonderful and full of laughter and humor.
Right.
You're so right.
No, I had a patient who told me how he was no longer depressed. And then he told his psychiatrist, okay, I'm not depressed, but I'm also not awake. I don't think this counts. And the psychiatrist said, no, it does. You're not suicidal. We are succeeding.
Right.
And it's that idea of, well, no, this is cheating. Like in anesthesia, my specialty as a nurse anesthetist, we give drugs for nausea. Some of them make you very drowsy. And it's like, but am I really taking away your nausea? Because you're asleep. I don't know if this counts as a win either.
Right.
So it's...
And do you want to spend your life
surviving.
Going through it, just surviving without really optimizing? I mean, I believe we're all put here for many purposes, great purposes. And part of our journey is to get beyond the things that limit us and find those purposes and enjoy them and live them out. So you're right, we can't do that in a drug haze or sedated in any kind of way. But that's often the go-to answer because the medical community and other people, we're concerned about keeping people alive.
Right.
But while we have them alive, we need to teach them how to live, right? And that's what you do, and that's what I do.
You're right. A lot of times we think of quality of life as far as older adults in nursing homes and with some of the medical devices that can keep them technically alive. But that is, it's a very difficult ethical issue, but that it's a huge issue in mental health. Right. And in substance abuse, like to what lengths do we go to, not that we give up on people, but are we keeping the focus on harm reduction and what's right for this person instead of, well, they won't hurt themselves if they're in this room with nothing to do, or if we watch them every minute of the day, or if we whisk them off to the hospital if they say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and temporarily those types of things are helpful. But I deal primarily with teen girls and with adult women, and we need to be able to take them from that place and strengthen them. The last time I was here, we talked about resiliency.
Right.
And resiliency is the cornerstone of treating suicide or treating suicidal ideation, I think. Teaching people, and every situation's different, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but just in managing life, we need to be able to teach people the skill of resilience, being able to manage how we feel, be able to experience an emotion without reacting to it or reacting on it or acting out that emotion. These are fundamental things that we don't see being taught regularly in society.
Right.
So our program and others like it are vital to keeping people healthy and happy and giving people the opportunity to go from a suicidal state to a state of wholeness and health and being able to manage and live their lives well.
So is there a concern, and this may be slightly offensive since you're a therapist, where you can almost get too much help, where you have someone who sympathizes with every emotion that you're having, and oh, that must be terrible, instead of the occasional, that's not a big deal.
Right.
Because I do say that sometimes to my patients, but again, that's a risky thing because it could come off as uncaring or that I'm not in their shoes, while at the same time, none of us have the mental capacity to focus on every detail and really ruminate about, well, what did they mean by that, or how will I get over this?
Right. And sometimes it's very comforting. The opposite of that is very comforting to be able to tell people that, hey, I know this feels awful right now, but you're not in any physical danger. You know, I deal with people who have, it runs the gamut, but a lot of young women have enormous panic attacks and anxiety, and in that moment, they are just sure the end is near.
Right.
And being able to teach them that you can be uncomfortable. You know, we live in a society where we have instant everything, right? Instant gratification, instant relief, instant information.
Right.
And we have lost the idea of what it means to be in discomfort for a period of time. We want to eliminate that as quickly as we can. And that's not always possible, and it's certainly not always optimal, to your point. Yeah.
It's almost as if I said that, hey Joanne, it's 71 here inside the WCTV studio. I prefer 72, so if you can make that happen, Rachel and I will be so much more comfortable.
I'm on it.
Oh, wow, it's magic. Yeah, don't we wish all of life worked that easily? But it doesn't, and I think that we stay focused on this absence of discomfort to such a degree that it's a culture now that people can't sit with uncomfortable feelings. They can't sit with grief. They can't sit with worry. You know,
Right.
and a moderate amount of worry is a normal part of life.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot of time teaching girls and women how not to worry and how to not ruminate, because ruminating is now what most people consider worry, right?
Right.
One of the most destructive habits possible. And I think one of the things that leads to a depressive, suicidal state in many cases, you know, we have to try to arrest the development of that negative thought pattern. And we've been very successful in doing that, but it takes an environment that's genuine. It takes people away from their regular day, it takes out into a horse farm. It's a much more conducive environment to come to grips with real emotion and learn to control them and manage them.
No, that makes sense about rumination. You know, the Bible verse, give us this day our daily bread.
Right.
It doesn't say, give us this day
Give
a
it all
loaf
to
of
us.
bread that will last in my pantry for 4 months, and every
Great
day I will
point.
think about the bread.
That's a great point, right.
I know I think I've told you this before, but that's how the ketamine and Spravato treatments work in our clinic, where it is a stress to your brain, but more of an acute, let's live life and have an adventure stress that then dissipates and leaves someone less anxious and less depressed.
That's wonderful.
As opposed to these chronic stresses where it's, well, what about my bills? What about my career? Because many people during the pandemic said they actually had a lot lower stress, and they felt better, but that's because they had no human interaction anymore.
Right.
They were just using Instacart and Amazon and staying in their
Sure.
houses.
Right, or becoming more isolated, you know.
And that doesn't count. It's a
No.
more peaceful life, and there's often a lot of talk about tranquility and mindfulness, but it's almost an abuse of those words.
It
Because
is.
of course
It
your life
is.
isn't stressful if you have no responsibilities to anyone else.
Right, and
Or-
that's not healthy long term. You know, a little bit of that is fine, but anything done in great, you know, amounts or for great periods of time creates the same problem, just on a different level.
Right.
You know, it's awful. You know, one of the things that you and I do that has really been a great mixture of kind of the mental health world and some of the more alternative methods, which I guess I would fall into, is that you and I have been able to work together with patients and create really great success stories for young women who have struggled with suicidal ideation and these other things, ruminating as well. I think that we need more of that. You know, you and I have talked before about the fact that one person comes into your practice needing help, and you don't always know all of the other types of things that are going on in their lives. You don't know what other kind of medical care they're seeking,
Right.
what other kinds of information they have, what other kinds of medication they're taking, all that kind of thing. It would be so great to be able to, and I don't know how we do this, maybe you have some advice on how we can integrate care for
Right.
each individual person, you know, creating a plan of care that kind of has everybody talking, you know, everybody who deals with that particular person talking about their care.
Well, I think it has to do with the stiff facade I mentioned earlier. And when I first opened my clinic, I did try that. It isn't my nature, because unfortunately I'm a pretty silly person, but I tried the whole very professional and let's make this look like a very sleek, well-run organization and we can take care of everything. And then I realized, well, if I'm real with these patients, then I'm much more likely to realize quickly if something is, if I know, like, obviously there's no horse ranch inside of Ascend Health Center. I've looked in every room, I've never seen a horse, not even a pony. We don't even have a pony inside. And so when you're more relaxed with the patients, you can more easily realize, I can't help with this particular issue, but here's someone who can, and it's a much more natural approach.
Right.
Like going to your neighbor's house for sugar and, oh, they do have an egg, I could use an egg, here's a potato that you can use. That sort of system of, well, here's what we can all do together, and it doesn't matter if I'm the one who heals you. It kind of takes the pride out of it too, because a lot in healthcare, many of us get into it having this superhero complex of I can save everyone. But if we're sharing, then it's like, well, here's the expertise that I can bring, and then I won't go beyond my expertise. I'll send you to this person, and it's a more natural progression. And it does help, I think, prevent what I was also talking to you about, and what I'm often worried about is too much help.
Yes.
Where it's almost like healthcare becomes like the Amazon and the Instacart.
Right.
We just
Oh,
lay around
well
and other
said.
people deal with all your issues for you.
That's right. Well said. That's
Because that's
really
great
true.
until you need to, I don't know, get a job or something.
Right,
and then
right.
it all
yeah.
crumbles.
Right. We need to be empowering people to manage their own lives, and it's a very great point. We are now in an environment where there are so many options and so much help available that there are people who are receiving so much assistance or care that maybe it's skewed and they're not taking on the responsibility of taking that information and kind of elevating their own experience. I think one of the reasons you and I work so well together is because we have that same viewpoint. We love people and we want to help people, but we also know that you and I have limits. There's only so much that I can do within my purview.
And it does need to be more of a referral process of professional to professional, because otherwise I can envision a future in 2 or 3 years where mental health care becomes almost like Bumble or Tinder, where the patient's like, oh, I could use this, I want some EMDR, want to do some ketamine therapy, here's some TMS. And that sort of approach almost becomes like a gluttony of healthcare. And that's a bit where we have the inequality in culture of here's the people that their insurance will pay for everything, here's the people who have nothing, and it becomes very imbalanced. But maybe the key is patience among professionals, meaning if I tell a patient, like I said earlier, well, this isn't really a big deal, that can be a very unkind thing to say or a very kind thing. I think the difference is patience. Am I just burned out or fed up and saying, look, just get a grip and deal with it? Because that's when it's a caustic thing to say. But if I can center myself and be in a place of patience, then I can, with more authority, say, like, no, this is just something called life. This is not your depression. This is just a bad thing that happened today, and you need to move on. Or sometimes it is, okay, well, here's a little thing, but let's make sure it's processed completely before we move on.
That's true, and I think that, again, this idea that we are not creating environments of resiliency. We're not teaching people that they can live with discomfort, they can live with, and they can develop the skill to discern between what is really something worth having some concern over and what is just an emotional trigger or something that you just need to process and kind of sit with and be uncomfortable with and move forward. Much of what we do in the Ranch program is reprogramming people's perceptions. And, you know, I don't know why, and maybe you can answer this, but I don't know why it's so much more of an issue now than it was even 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And certainly when I was growing up, we didn't see as much of this inability to manage some of the smallest things. I think social media is a huge piece of this, though. I think that there are plenty of studies that have come out just recently to validate the fact that social media does more damage to us as people, whether we're teen girls or adult men or whoever, than it helps us, I think.
Yeah, with Instagram just a few weeks ago where it came out that they knew that their app specifically harmed the mental health of girls and they did nothing about it.
Horrifying.
In a way that Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook did not. It is that comparison game. But I think it is also that in our culture, hardship is almost viewed as a sin, where if you've made it, then you don't have hardship. And we have this faux hardship where the self-help books and the guru speaking talk about, I suffer through adversity and here I am. And it's like, well, why don't we talk a little bit more about the adversity? How hard was it? And did you have this safety net of your family behind you where if you failed financially, you were going to be fine? So we like the idea of a hardship that looks good and impresses others, but isn't hard. And I've had a lot of broken-hearted families where their family member came to our clinic for treatment and found it difficult and had great results. They're a lot easier to live with even. And then they're like, no, this is hard. I think I'm done here. And the family members realized we've kind of done this, that here was actually a chance for a cure in some cases. But because it was a difficult thing, and usually I tell patients, like, well, this should be difficult. Usually if you've come to us, it's because other things haven't worked. And if there was a magic bullet, you would have already found it at 3 a.m. on an infomercial. The kale smoothie would have done its job, and you'd be perfectly fine. But apparently you're here because all the avocados didn't work.
That's right. But that's exactly my point. You know, when people finally come to you or to me, in most cases they've been they've tried a lot of other resources. And in some cases, in many cases, it's the effort was too great to take on. And then I think a lot of people come to me and think, well, this will be easier. And in some ways, it's more pleasant. But the work to change our perception and to heal from things that we have been through and experienced is difficult. That's part of the journey. But in that difficulty, we build resilience. And if you can get people to sign on, you know, my programs begin at 6 weeks. If we can get someone for 6 weeks consistently coming and doing things at home, doing some cognitive exercises at home, we are on our way to helping them change these neural pathways.
Sure.
It takes 30 days, as we all know, roughly 30 days to change a mindset or a habit or a thought process. If we can get you thinking just for a few days consistently differently, the brain begins to appreciate that, and you begin to see change. It is, to your point, you find people in the midst of that even when they've come to you and they've gotten a better brain, essentially, they're now tasked with making sure that stays that way and maintaining and learning the hard skills, the challenging skills that will keep them permanently whole. That's sometimes very challenging for people to accept because it requires that they put the effort in.
Right.
And that's what we need to work on.
So it sounds like what both of us can do is sort of, and this is going to be a strange analogy like all of them, but my mom loves gardening. So if you're watching this show and you want to contact us, because our phone number is 330-754-4844 for Ascend Health Center. But let's say you call and say, hey, is Nick's mom's available? I heard she's a good gardener, because she is. She can come to your house and make the perfect garden. But you know what? Next year, that's your garden. You have to be the one that weeds it and takes care of it. She might set you up for success.
Great point.
But eventually, you have to do the work. And it's similar with this. So I don't want anyone to think that this is, if you really have problems, you've got to check out the technology at Ascend Health Center or the horses at White Hawk Ranch. We're not saying that we're the foremost experts where only we can help you. It is that you have to be with someone that will be real with you and where they put in work and you also put in work.
Right.
And that's the real key to success.
Right.
Because I've had patients who said, I need a ketamine infusion, the brain-derived neurotrophic factor and the dendrites and the neuroplasticity. And I'll say, no, actually, you just need to talk to a therapist and do the homework they give you every week, and you should be fine. We don't need that. But that's our culture of, like, give me the best and all of the things, and then I'll be healed.
Right, right. Personal responsibility is something that we all struggle with as a society now more so than ever before, and I think it falls into that. The joy, though, is when you see, I think of one patient that you and I have worked together with, and she, young girl, and she has come so far and worked so hard. But in the beginning, when she first came to me, she was reticent to make those changes. And it took just, I told her my phone is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You call me no matter what. We'll get you back on track. Because by the time we are in our 20s, or our late teens, we have developed, even early teens, we've developed a thought process that we think is who we are. And I tell people, in so many cases, this cognitive behavior and these habits are simply that. They're habits you've developed, coping strategies that you've developed. These are not dyed-in-the-wool personality traits that we can't alter.
Right.
We can change the things about your thought process that aren't working, the habits that you've developed, the thought about your low self-worth. That's, I think, the key, the cornerstone of everything. That's so much of what we do. But once we get people to realize that they can change that and that they can sustain a new thought process, it's so exciting and it's so wonderful. And it takes organizations like mine, organizations like yours, people who truly love people and are willing to take the time and be patient and say, hey, I know this is difficult. I'm asking you to do this for just 7 days. We're going to come back and we're going to see where you are. Just stick with it for 7 days. I'll send an encouraging text or I'll send an encouraging video. And it's those types of things that walk people through the process so that at some point they are autonomous and they're empowered.
And a lot of it is with appropriate goal setting, because someone could watch this and think, oh, I must not be working hard enough. If I worked harder, then I wouldn't have depression. But when I first started Ascend, because I have a background in holistic health, I was like, here's some supplements you can take, here's some dietary changes and some exercise. And I realized, nope, we need to see some results with something more powerful, whether it's transcranial magnetic stimulation or psychiatric medications. And then once it's a snowball effect, once you can see a little progress and the patient is on board, of course I'll do the work. But a lot of times it is an error in goal setting as opposed to, oh, this patient just isn't working hard enough.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't want people are so vulnerable when they come to us. It breaks my heart to see everybody who comes to us is so vulnerable and so just open for hope.
Right.
And we are the peddlers of hope in many ways, because we do have information, methodology, medication that can help, right? So we start them at that place. It's funny that you say giving them seeing a little bit of success is motivating. When girls come to us, or when women come to us and they interact with horses, and they're able to do a very small, I would say 90% of the people who come to us have no horse experience. So I tell people, this is not Nazi horse camp. We are not going to force you to do crazy, dangerous things with horses.
Right.
However, horses are inherently prey animals, so there is always that element of communication and control. But it is a magical moment when these young women or adult women master even the smallest skill with a horse. It
Right.
builds their confidence, and it makes them see what's possible, because in order to interact with horses, you have to have emotional control. And many people who come to us haven't had a moment's worth of emotional control in their life. So when you can get them to understand that in just a few minutes, your point is exactly right. They are so motivated to do whatever else is required to get that feeling forever, right?
Wow.
And that's what we do. That's what you do.
Yeah. And if you need to contact us at Ascend, we have therapy, psychiatry, TMS. We do a lot with pain management, substance abuse, ascendhealthcenter.com. And if they want to contact you at the ranch,
It's whitehawkranch.info, and you can call us at 330-819-2032.
thanks. And thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.